Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We want to get right into the chat today. So just really quickly walking through the housekeeping. My name is Jenna, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all. We just need to let you know that the chat is being recorded today. So what it means for you is that you'll be able to view this again and send it to a friend. And you'll find that on our website at www.csulb.edu/alumni. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit them in the Q&A box. And our lovely moderator today, Lisa, will make sure that those questions make it on over to our guest speaker. So with that, let me go ahead and introduce Lisa. She originally from Sweden, moved to California almost 7 years ago from a study abroad program, and found that the sunshine made it just too impossible to leave Southern California. She received her undergraduate in communications and marketing at CSULB, and she is now currently a grad student in the sports management program. Thanks, Lisa. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. And welcome, Toby. We are so happy to have you here today. And I'll introduce you for everyone. So Toby Rochau is the Senior Director of Group Sales at FC Dallas in the MLS Soccer League in Frisco, Texas. He has been with the FC Dallas for 10 years. And before then, he was a contract journalist for the NBA Germany and has interviewed players such as Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, Dennis Schroeder, and others over the past 10 years. He has his master's degree in sports management from CSULB, representing LT21. And during the program, he interned with Special Olympics Southern California and Chivas USA. And at FC Dallas, Toby has received a lot of MLS awards, including the MLS Gold, Silver, and Excellence Award, and is one of the 3 group salesmen in the MLS. He's been invited overseas to represent and present CTS Eventim, which is the largest ticketing provider in Europe, on the difference between ticket sales in the US and Europe. Toby is originally from Germany and moved to Texas in 2006 to pursue his bachelor's degree in marketing and management from Texas Wesleyan University. And he's currently living in Dallas with his wife and daughter. Very impressive background, and we are so grateful to have you here and for the time you're taking to chat with us.
Thank you.
So I just say we just jump straight into it, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's just start with your background and experience and what led you to CSULB and the sports management program.
So really, so I got my bachelor's here in Texas, and it sounds funny, but one of the few ways to stay in the US is just getting a master's program before you have to leave the country.
Yes.
So I applied to CSULB and got accepted and moved to California. My wife, she's actually from California, so it was kind of convenient. And yeah, that's how I got to CSULB. It was really just, I didn't want to leave the country, so that was one of my few options to stay.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think we are I'm in a very similar position that you were back then. So what led you to your field that you're in right now?
To be honest, really the internships I had at my time at CSULB, and then just growing up in Europe, my passion for soccer. I didn't know if I wanted to be in sales. I just wanted to work in sports, and then I just enjoyed sales more than I even expected, and I still enjoy it now after 11 years. So there's, I couldn't see myself doing anything else in sports and selling. So I really enjoyed that.
Did you jump into FC Dallas right after your internship or your internship on the program, or?
Yes, right after I graduated, I started here at FC Dallas. So it was my first job after my master's.
That's amazing. Very impressive. And what do you find the most interesting with your job, challenges and rewardings?
It kind of shifted over the years. At the beginning, for sure, you start as a sales rep, you make 100, 150 calls a day. And 11 years ago, soccer wasn't as popular here in our area. So a lot of people had no idea who FC Dallas was. just
Mhm.
dealing with all the rejections all day, coming home, and you made 100 calls and you talked to 2 people, and just learning to deal with those rejections, and that you have to get up the next day and make 100 calls again, and they always say smile and dial. So the first couple of months are pretty hard starting off as a sales rep, and I see that now, having reps under me, that it's not easy to get started making cold calls and stuff.
Yeah. You gotta stick through it.
That's probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah. And what was I gonna ask? You had some experience working in Germany as well. Do you want to touch a little bit on your experience as a journalist for the MBA in Germany?
Yeah, so it was for NBA Germany, but it was when I was already here in Texas.
Okay.
So it just happened that my brother was working for a company in Germany, and they later became NBA Germany, but they were looking for someone in the US to do kind of the covering the NBA. And with me being in Dallas and with Dirk, our only German player at that time, it kind of worked out, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I never really had anything to do with journalism before that.
Mhm.
But I just building the relationships and just working that environment. I did it for 10, 11 years, and it's really time consuming, but the reward and going to the games, it was just a fun time. For example, you go to a game and you have an interview with Dirk set up after the game. You have to wait for the coach to talk to the players afterwards. Dirk is always the last one out of the shower after treatment, so you got to the arena at like 6 o'clock, and then the interview was like at 12:30. Then you drove home, then you wrote it all up, so it was online the next morning.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of time, but also great memories and relationships I built, even with some of the players. So
Yeah. No, that's amazing. That sounds really rewarding. Do you see any big differences, you being from Germany, from the industry working both in Europe and in the USA?
in the ticketing industry or journalism?
Both.
Ticketing, that's what I do, so it's a little easier to talk about it right now. It seems Europe is a few years behind when it comes to ticketing, especially in Germany. They used to, sell out every game and they never had to worry about how to fill the buildings. Where here in soccer, that's what we do. We're trying to fill buildings. So they're slowly getting into the idea of, okay, how can we get our groups? What can we do different? So they just stare at me when I start talking what we do here. And, cold calling is not really a thing you do in Germany. It's actually not legal to just randomly reach out to people. And when I tell them that here, we call people, we text them, they're just like, that would be unheard of in Germany. So,
Yeah.
they're trying to find ways around that now and starting to build. Like, for example, we have a sales team here of 25. In Germany, most teams, it's between 2 and 4. So it's not as big as here at all. But yeah, the last 2 years, it kind of shifted that they're trying to figure out what else can we do to kind of improve our ticket sales. And even we started here at FC Dallas having digital tickets probably 5, 6 years ago. And in Germany, there's still teams that just print their tickets. They don't want to deal with the digital world, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting that that they are a little behind in that digital world. Huh.
I think it has a lot to do with their culture.
Yeah.
Like the fans, they're just a lot of fans. They've been around for 40, 50 years. They just like their printed ticket and they want to hang it up or put it in a frame. But then everybody who comes over here from Germany and I send them a digital ticket, they say it's so easy and so convenient.
Yeah.
So.
So interesting. We have a question in the chat here. How did you balance your job in sales, sports reporting, and personal life? Was it challenging, or did you find any hacks?
The good thing about those two was that journalism was more at night, going to the games, and then every now and then I went to a practice and I just took either a half day, but most of the times I really worked the night games, so it kind of worked hand in hand. And then it was more at the end that I had selected interviews, so I didn't have to be at every game anymore. So it was just setting up interviews was some of the away players or home team players. So it was a lot easier to handle it. So basically, I
Yeah.
just left my day job to do that at night.
Yeah, because it's a full long day.
Yeah,
Being at
yeah,
the
for
job
sure.
all day. Yeah. Yeah. Did you find it rewarding in regardless?
Yeah, looking back now, for sure, even with the connections I made with the Mavs, and a lot of people, even in media, I work with at the Mavs. They're working with us now at FC Dallas. Players like Dirk, he comes to our games now. We know each other, and um, it's just cool to see that, even players like him are really down to earth and,
Yeah.
support you and what you do. Because the journalists, when you get there, they always ask the tough questions after a loss and stuff. And I was trying to be different and not like, why did you miss this shot or why did you do this? I was trying to be more, my interviews were more about their personal life and family and, how they got to the NBA. And
Mm-hmm.
it was more about learning about them and not just kind of criticizing after the game, like what went wrong or so.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way of being a little unique as well. Let's jump back in time a little to your time at the California State University of Long Beach and your experience. How was your experience at school and in the program?
It was great. It was, I moved there and I didn't know what to expect really, but I lived on 2nd Street, which was nice.
Yeah.
So probably the best area to live in Long Beach.
Yeah, I used to live in
And
Naples.
yeah, so it was interesting to go from, full-time student to really just have class, I think Monday night and like every
Mhm.
fourth Saturday. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's it. But yeah, I think one of the biggest parts was really the internships.
Mhm.
And that's how, especially Special Olympics, I think I was there for a year and I still talk to some of the people. I
Bill?
wish I could work for, yeah, Bill. Every Christmas we write Merry Christmas
Aw.
back and forth. So um, I wish I could work for Special Olympics, but it's, just doesn't pay as much as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Um, and then the Chivas USA, this MLS team that used to be in California. I actually worked with some people, or I interned there, and some people worked there. They went to FC Dallas, and they helped me get the job here. So it's, that's always what I tell people. It's you have to be good in the classroom, but the connections you make outside, take every internship or even if it's like a weekend volunteer opportunity at some, event or so, just take it and, talk to people, introduce yourself.
That's so true. I think that's one of the biggest advice for this program too. Like use your connections and network all the time, every day.
Exactly. Like I even had business cards when I was in my master's program, just with my name on it, and it said, graduate student,
Yeah.
CSULB with an email, just so I have something to hand out. Nowadays, you have LinkedIn, so it's a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. No.
You don't really do the business card thing anymore.
Everything is digital. What advice would you give to someone who is looking for an internship, and where should they be looking?
I mean, if it's in sports, there's, different websites like Teamwork Online. That's probably the most famous one where every team is posting. And then really, I have so many people who just reach out to me on LinkedIn asking for an internship or ask to pick my brain for 10, 15 minutes in some kind of master's program right now.
Yeah.
And that's always impressive to me. So if they come back 2, 3 years later and, applying for a job, I'm more than happy to help them at least get an interview or so.
Yeah.
So just, I think every week I get 2 or 3 who are reaching out to me on LinkedIn, want to learn more about what I've done. So I think just approach people. Because like if you just apply to a job, it's, I just posted a job here and I think we had 75 applicants in 2 days.
Yeah.
But then 3, 4 reached out on LinkedIn directly. So they're, they're standing out more because I got a direct message instead of just 75 resumes on my desk.
Yeah. No, that's very, very true. What is the best advice you could give to the current students in the program?
Just be open that it might not be your dream job right away and kind of find what you're looking for, either through an internship or the first couple of years. Like a lot of people know sales is really for a lot of people just to get their foot in the door into sports.
Yeah.
And then once you're in an organization, you can move around. So sales is just the easiest way to get in, but just be open, communicate with other departments once you're in somewhere, and um, yeah, just make yourself known,
Yeah.
I guess. But never, if you interview for a sales position, never say that you just want to get your foot in the door, because we don't like to hear that. We know you're not going to stay forever, but don't tell us that in the interview.
Yeah.
So
Smart one. I think this connects to what you just said, but do you have any tips or suggestions for anyone trying to get into sales?
I mean, there's a lot of great books, and one of the best ones is How to Sell the Last Seat in the House. It's probably, I read it, not read it, or I heard about it when I lived in Germany still. It's probably like 20 years old, but it's really like the Bible of ticket sales. And then there's books like How to Sell Ice to an Eskimo. A lot of people or younger adults who are, getting into their first year, they're just applying and have no idea about sales or what's happening or what is it about. So just prepare yourself a little bit if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, YouTube videos from, and that guy is John Spolstra. I think it's the dad of Eric Spolstra, the Heat coach, and he wrote those books. And they're just, they're like, the first one is 700 pages, I think, but it's pretty impressive.
Do you have any? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, when you guys are hiring people in the sales department, do you have some things that you are looking for that you can see in a person to kind of see that they would be fit well into the sales position?
Yeah, just be energetic on the phone or Zoom call or when you come in. I can't tell you how many people literally sound like they just woke up when you talk to them, and you don't need that in sales. Just be energetic, be open, and show the willingness to work. It's real funny going through interview processes these days. There's a lot of funny stories out there of people who they're just too honest, and yeah, just show energy and that you're, someone we can trust.
Yeah. Can you see that in yourself, starting as a sales rep and now a senior director, that your path was being everything you just said?
Yeah, I mean, a lot had to do too with, our VP here and our ownership group at FC Dallas. They're just great people, and it's almost like a family here.
Yeah.
So I think that played in my cards because I'm a family person. I, like to have fun at work, and I know not every job is like that, but I tell my wife every now and then that over the 10 years, maybe I had 5 days where I didn't want to go to work in the morning. So it's really, they make you feel like they care about you as a salesperson. I know there's a lot of other organizations where you're just a number, but here they make sure you're happy. The owner, comes to our sales floor almost every day, knows our name. So it's just, the whole environment made it happen for me that I've been here that long, and I don't really see myself going anywhere.
I think that's amazing and very unique. But like for you, it makes you stay because the company cares about you and don't only see you as a number, but actually as a person. And I mean, you're a receipt on that. You've been there for so long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on the other hand, is if you want to stay in sports, like for me, moving to another team now would probably be a move across the country.
Yeah.
So there's, only a couple teams here left in Dallas, but if you want to stay in soccer, you probably have to move to a different state.
Well,
so at one point, it's really where you're at with your family too. Once you have kids, it's not that easy to just, move around and stuff.
No, very true. Very true. I know you're a busy man, so I have one last question for you. And what is
I have some more time. It's good.
Okay, good. What is the biggest lesson you have learned with your career in sport?
Just, I think, be honest, because in sales, it brings the best and the worst out of people. And just so many people trying to cheat the system. And, it's, at the end of the day, it's about the commission. But
Yeah.
honesty always, and being trustworthy to your bosses is what, gets you there. Because, over the 10 years, I don't know how many reps we had, but there are people that fake call numbers and just, pick up the phone, hang it up, and we just see that they made 80 calls, but they only actually made 6 calls. So there's just be honest, because at the end of the day, it will come out and it will show.
Yeah. Ooh, let me jump in. I think that's very true. And we learn from our experiences, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What do you think is the most important thing you learned at CSULB? And let me see here, learn at CSULB, and what serves you most in your career today?
Probably the relationship building, because
Mhm.
even with my customers and my job, it's you want to get them out every year, so it's about building the relationship and creating referrals and like I said, build talking to everyone during your master's program and keep in touch with them. I have a funny thing that I try to at least tell the person happy birthday, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Even if I don't talk to them for the whole year, but I have a list of, I don't know, like 300 people, and I write a Merry Christmas message. And people respond, and it's just a way to stay in touch because everybody gets busy. But I take the time once a year to just do that and see how everybody's doing.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Did you have any mentors during your time at CSULB, or do you think that's important to have today?
Yeah, for sure. I think Bill was a great mentor, Bill Schumart,
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
Special Olympics.
yeah, he's amazing.
And then is it Diana Hicks? She used to run the program, be a big part.
Yeah.
We had a great relationship, and she was always helpful.
Yeah.
And then even the person who hired me at Chivas USA, he is now one of the VPs at New England Revolution. So it's just our cross paths so many times. So I was an intern for him, and now we're on the same leadership calls, which is kind of cool to see.
Wow.
So and especially in sports, it's all about don't burn any bridges, because everybody knows everybody in this industry. It's a
Mhm.
really small industry.
Yeah, no, that's very true. What is the next move you'd like to make in your career, and where do you see yourself in 5 years? I know you talked about staying in Dallas and the club, but if
Yeah,
you could think out.
I would love to somehow be involved in the World Cup, especially if Dallas gets the final or semifinal, or our owner is really involved in that. So we'll have to be somehow involved in the ticketing or so, just to put that on your resume.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I always thought about going back to Germany at one point, but I think that ship has sailed. So unless a great opportunity comes across, I think I, will still be here in 5 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard because you don't know, you want to get promotions too, but I think I'm kind of at the ceiling because we have a VP here who I don't think will ever leave, and I don't really want him to leave. So, um, yeah, it's always the question to kind of balance two. Do you want to start over somewhere new, or what you have now, and knowing everybody and having time for the family?
Yeah.
How much you value that? Is it really worth, I don't know, $10,000 more somewhere else,
No,
or
that's
that
very,
flexibility
yeah.
that you can do? Kind of trust you what you do. It's nobody asks anymore if I come to work at 10:30 or 8:30. They don't ask where I go in the afternoon. So it's worth something, that relationship with your
Yeah.
boss and owner.
Oh, 100%. 100%. How is a typical day in your job and position look like today?
Um, Really depends if we're in the season or off season.
Mm-hmm.
Like today was pretty busy. We're actually playing at LA on Saturday, and we find out Saturday night if we make the playoffs or not, and we might have a game on Wednesday night at home. So we're planning ahead to, coming to the office Sunday, Monday, if we play on Wednesday. So it was a lot of planning today, figuring out what to do in case we play basically 48 hours after Saturday night's game here at home and have to fill the building.
Mm-hmm.
But the regular day is really I have 5 groups rep under me, just making sure they're doing their work, helping them on anything I can help. And every game they basically have goals to hit, so just trying to help them hit their goals. I still sell tickets too for the game, so we have an overall group goal to hit. And at this point of the season, it's really just starting to start the communication already for next year's,
Yeah.
big groups come out, because these companies have their budget meetings already coming up for next year.
Yeah. So related to your typical day, could you break down what your job entails for someone who is not really familiar with the field you're in?
Yeah, so it's funny because some people, they have no clue what I do, and even family members that think I'm standing at the gates ripping off the tickets like in the good old days. But basically my whole career I had sales goals for every game, amount of tickets to sell, and being in groups means it's basically anything from 10 or more tickets is counted as a group. So, you have that soccer team that brings out 20 people, or you have a company that buys 3,000 tickets. So it's still, cold calling a few companies. It's building relationships with the local, soccer association, sports association, local churches, because everybody has a group somewhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can probably, find 10 people to come to a game if you're part of a church or a gym or something. So yeah, main goal is really just filling the building, having a goal every game for 10 years now. It's, some pressure sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's without pressure, then it wouldn't be fun either. So,
That's
at
very
the end
true.
of the day, you make your own money, right? Since you're in commission, it's if you sell more, you make more money. So that's always motivating too.
Yeah. We tend to work better under pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Is there room for any type of creativity in your position?
Yeah, we always ask our reps to, even if it's a crazy idea, bring it up, and maybe we can, spin it in a way that, we can make it work. But we don't just want to, sell tickets. It's coming up with different ideas. Or I think one of my first ideas I had here was there's a basketball coach called Dale Harris. I think he used to be an NBA assistant coach for the US team, and he brought out a book. So I met him through my journalism gig, and so I built a package that it's an FC Dallas ticket, a meet and greet with him at the game, and a book signing. So, 2 completely different sports, but trying to somehow, get people here into the building.
Yeah.
So yeah, people can be as creative as they can be. And, we had a playoff game a few years ago, and we didn't know how to get people here. So we said, if you buy 25 or more tickets in November, you got a turkey for Thanksgiving from us. So we had, like 200 turkeys here in our office that people picked up. So, it's just being creative, and sometimes ideas, crazy, and you sell 2 tickets. Sometimes it's, the hit. So
Yeah, you never know until you try.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I just want to touch on a little bit about leadership. I know you're a leader. You have had probably a lot of leaders and have leaders above you today as well. What do you value in leadership?
I value that they care about the person. Like I said earlier, that you're not just a number.
Yeah.
Like when I have reps, I mean, I don't want to get into their personal life, but at least asking how they're doing in the mornings, or, every now and then. And once you work with someone every day for 4 or 5 months, and you look over on your desk to the right, you see that they're not all right, or if they have a good day or a bad day. So I think so far I've done a pretty good job that people come to me even if they have any other issues, besides work. And I think that's what I learned from my VP, that him and I have such a great relationship that sometimes we just talk about, religion and family, and, how we can help each other. So I think that's for me the most important part too, because once someone notices that, I think they want to work for you. if you're more about like hit your numbers and make more calls, then after a while, they start complaining about you, and that's never going to be good.
No, that's very true. I think that's very important in work, that you have a great relationship with everyone, because you spend so much time there, and it makes work easier too when you know the persons you're working with. I think it sounds like you have a great relationship with everyone at FC Dallas. And do you think that you have a good work-life balance there as well? Like you?
Yeah, for sure. I think if people would see me, sometimes I'm pushing the envelope on, sometimes when I leave the office but I just value that. And I don't know if that's my culture coming from Germany. Like, even when I started, I was done at 5:30, and then there were other reps that stayed here till 8, 9. But when I'm working, I'm actually working. Nowadays, you see so many who are, scrolling social media or watching the soccer game while on their desks. And then they stay here till 8, 9. So you come home, you go to sleep and do the same thing. But if you actually work when you're at work, and then, you leave at 4:35, you still have a life outside of work.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
My boss always said, when I first got hired, you park the car, you hit the tree, which means you start working. When you leave the office, you hit the tree, and that means, it's your time now, not work time.
Yeah, that's just
as a reminder.
Yeah, it's important to different the two of them as well.
Yeah, which is hard in sales, because it is about commission, and people email you at 10, 11, and I try not to answer them, but sometimes it's just it's like a quick text or a quick email and you can take care of it. But in sales, it's kind of hard sometimes to just ignore someone, especially when you just start. I think you're afraid that someone else will take the sale if you don't answer. So
well, I think that was great. And just thank you again for taking the time and chat with us today. It's been super informative and great to hear about your experience at CSULB and your life and career. Very impressive. So
no, thank you
again. Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out on LinkedIn or connect, feel free to search for my name.
Yeah,
perfect.
Toby, I think you jumped the gun on me there, but yeah, no, thank you so much, Toby, and thank you, Lisa. I think this is a really great chat, and I know that sports management is one of those fields where there's just so many different ways that you can take it. So we really appreciate you sharing your story with us and your journey with us. So for us, again, like I said, that this chat is being recorded, so you'll be able to view it again and send it to a friend and a colleague or anyone you think that might be able to make use of that. And you'll find that at our website at www.csulb.edu/alumni. Additionally, you'll also be able to take a look at some of the other things that we have upcoming, different events and different industry chats that you may find interesting. And Toby, again, if somebody wanted to reach out to you and find out what you're up to, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Or just my LinkedIn. I'm pretty responsive. I think one of the journalism teachers from CSULB reached out yesterday if I can talk to his class. So yeah, I'm more than happy to connect with anybody.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, Alana went ahead and put that in the chat for those of you that are here. And if not, you can definitely take a look at LinkedIn under Toby Rochau. So thank you both so much. I appreciate you guys. And if you could just stay on for a few moments while we say goodbye to the folks in the audience.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good one.